Ladies and gentlemen, be here at 6:30 p.m. Pacific time. I'm going to have a live stream at 6:30 p.m. Pacific time on this channel to discuss the Supreme Court decision. Marjorie Taylor Greene, The Hill, swarmed outside Supreme Court. The Independent, Marjorie Taylor Greene heckled by pro-choice demonstrators as she celebrates Roe v. Wade decision. It's interesting how the media is reacting to Marjorie Taylor Greene being accosted, intimidated, or they're trying to intimidate her. She was forced away from, let's just read this here, the Daily Beast. Marjorie Taylor Greene heckled as she basked outside the Supreme Court. So she was outside the Supreme Court, and you had a whole bunch of demonstrators swarm around her, accost her, and try their best to intimidate her. Where's the condemnation from AOC? Could you imagine if, God forbid? Now, this, I explained, is the result of the Democratic Party cheating Bernie Sanders. I did 2 segments on this. Didn't get notification. You might not have gotten notifications. You might get a notification with this segment. Hopefully you do. But I did 2 segments prior to this explaining. I wrote in The Hill, The Huffington Post, and Salon. NPR quoted me. The links are below, actually, in the description section. I stated in 2015 and 2016 when the Huffington Post called me the biggest Bernie Sanders booster on the internet, and the Washington Post labeled me the unofficial scribe of Sanders' most hardcore voters. I stated Clinton was unelectable. I said that Bernie Sanders, at that moment in time, he would have made a terrible president because he's basically a tool of the Democratic Party. Okay, the Democratic Party now, the foreign policy is run by the Bush, Cheney, and Rumsfeld, Lincoln Project people who want never-ending counterinsurgency conflicts, never-ending military interventions, regime changes, all these horrible things that I vote against. That's why I support Donald Trump, Ron DeSantis. That's why I supported Bernie Sanders in the past. Okay, but he would have been the same type of president as any other Democrat. Okay? He couldn't even acknowledge he was cheated, but at that moment in time, he would have won. Okay? At that moment in time, he would not have lost the 3 Midwest states that Clinton lost. Comey wrote the Comey letter. Now, we're going to get back to the Marjorie Taylor Greene issue in a second, because you know I'm all over the place all the time. Be here at 6:30 p.m. for the live stream. Democrats, liberals, progressives, people on the left who are outraged and stunned and shocked. The Democratic Party did this. Now in midterms, there's no reason to vote Democrat ever again, really, because the frightening, the fear tactic was with the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court, well, you did it to yourselves. And I wrote in Salon, I said, I'm not, even with the Supreme Court issue, I will not vote for Clinton, and there's a lot of people like me. And the reason is because I don't want never-ending military conflict. Far more important than combating climate change. Infinitely more important than combating climate change. For a number of reasons. Okay, because the end of the world could literally take place, God forbid, tomorrow with the type of armament that former Cold War adversaries have and still could utilize, God forbid. We don't have to get into that, okay? The risk and the sword of Damocles that's still hanging over the entire planet pertaining to nuclear confrontation still exists. And we have the Lincoln Project and Democratic Party and mashed potato brains Joe pushing towards that, God forbid, scenario every single day. That's why the real issue with Trump and DeSantis is like the Republicans don't want somebody who opposes never-ending military conflict. They love the Cheney and the Rumsfeld and the Bush and Clinton and Kerry and Joe and all the Democrats who voted alongside Bush, Cheney, and Rumsfeld. They love that. But anyway, getting back to so I voted against Clinton and for Bernie Sanders for that specific reason, because I don't want a foreign policy that could lead to a nuclear confrontation, but also endless counterinsurgency conflicts. That's infinitely more important than combating climate change. Okay, whatever that means. Because there's no specific way every country is going to combat climate change. And so when you want to remove your reliance on, you want to do away with the fossil fuel industry after you ended economic activity, and now you have gas prices and energy prices through the roof, and fossil fuels are now through the roof in terms of cost. We're in a recession right now. We could be flirting with a depression eventually, God forbid. There will be, unfortunately, an AIG and Lehman Brothers type of moment. I predicted all of this, the economic decline, the stock market crash that we've seen the past year. Past couple of days, it's up. It's unfortunately going to continue to tank well below 30,000 in the Dow, NASDAQ, S&P. Bitcoin will crash to 10,000 or lower, like I stated in September. I said all of this in September of 2021, just like I stated in 2015 that Clinton would lose to Trump, and NPR quoted me. Had you just not cheated Bernie Sanders and had truly a fair and neutral primary, I'm respectfully saying this to everyone outraged today. Because the Democratic Party cheated Bernie Sanders, they lost any chance of defeating Trump. I said Clinton would lose to Trump. She did. Comey is the one that actually really sunk that campaign. It wasn't the Kremlin and all your conspiratorial theories that proved to be nonsense always. Not one shred of evidence. No one was ever convicted for conspiring alongside an intelligence official of that country. Okay? But what Democrats do is they say, vote, the Supreme Court, and vote for Clinton. You can't vote for Bernie. They cheated Bernie Sanders. Debbie Wasserman Schultz was forced to resign. Apparently another country wanted to hack the DNC emails to inform everyone that Bernie Sanders was cheated, which is another absurd conspiratorial theory justified by government and media. The DNC never gave its servers to the U.S. government. Okay? You're relying on a third-party tech firm that they paid money to. Your donations to Bernie Sanders went to the Steele dossier and to that tech firm to say that another country wanted you to know that Bernie Sanders was cheated. Anyway, he would have won. Say it slowly, Democrats and liberals and progressives and people on the left who just can't wrap their brains around it. Say it slowly. Bernie Sanders, and I'm not a fan anymore because he's basically a tool of the Democrat, got cheated again 4 years later in Iowa. Okay? The man, with just miraculous, coincidentally, an app that former Clinton campaign people developed, and then Pete Buttigieg won. Oh, it's totally fair. Anyway, Bernie Sanders would have won. Now you're taking it out on Marjorie Taylor Greene. Okay, now you're taking it out and you're going after, and there's been criminal activity leveled towards, numerous examples of criminal activity leveled towards pro-life clinics and organizations and justices. But Bernie Sanders, and where's the outrage from AOC? She even refused to condemn any of it. Or Democrats or Pelosi. They love the intimidation factor when it suits them. Then they cry and they say, oh my God, we're being intimidated by the mean Trumpers. A whole summer of $1 to $2 billion in property damage, 19 lives lost, 14,000 arrests, and I support the cause for that summer, but not the $1 to $2 billion in property damage. Okay? Not a word from the left or Democrats. Not a word. No condemnation. They wanted to keep it going. One day that I condemn also in January. One day, yes, I condemn that. Oh my God, democracy. They want to, undermine democracy. There were federal buildings also targeted by peaceful demonstrators in that summer. I didn't see any Democrat defend those federal buildings or condemn those peaceful demonstrations, quote unquote, with $1 to $2 billion in property damage, according to Wikipedia. 19 lives lost, 14,000 arrests. But here you have again the manner in which this is being. Oh, there was jostling. The Georgia Republican told reporters she was happy at the ruling. Some demonstrators chanted, "Lock her up." Oh, my God. A reference to Trump supporters' chants. Okay, well, Comey went to bat, didn't indict Clinton, then wrote the Comey letter. So you might as well, you should, it's like unbelievable. But here, there was jostling. Not chants of "you are a traitor" could be heard. Ms. Greene attempted to maneuver through a raging crowd, steps away from the U.S. Capitol. Okay, well, hundreds began gathering at the Supreme Court. And so here you have her being swarmed, and nobody cares. And so you can look, and it's just unbelievable. Swarmed outside Supreme Court, and she needs security and people to, her staff blocked protesters advancing at the Congresswoman and escorted her to a secure location. What do you think would happen, God forbid, if she didn't have a staff there? Okay? If you didn't cheat, you wouldn't be in this situation. My God, it's so simple. It's so simple to understand. You would have gotten 3 liberal Supreme Court justices. Bernie would have won. Bernie Sanders is a tool of the Democratic Party. He won't even stand up for himself, much less the millions of people that supported him in 2016. Okay? But he would have won at that moment in time. And Democrats, instead of wanting to win, picked somebody who was unelectable. Now, she's actually far more electable now. Hillary Clinton could become president in 24. So, and I want a Hillary Trump 2024 or a Hillary Clinton DeSantis 2024. Not because I want her president, but because it's the Democratic Party's chance to do it all over again. You forced everyone and you tried to intimidate everyone and disparage anyone who didn't vote for Clinton in 2016. Let's try it again in 2024. We're still living in 2016. This is a consequence of 2016. But obviously I'm voting for Trump or DeSantis in 2024. I vote against never-ending counterinsurgency conflicts and potential nuclear conflict. Yes, infinitely more important than climate change, and in my mind, more important than the decision today, because you're going to have to, on a state level now, pay attention, Democrats, on a state level, you will have to utilize your arguments, ideas, and persuasion based on reason and logic. Your power of persuasion that doesn't have to do with intimidation or media or going after physically confronting somebody. You're going to have to, in red states, actually explain why your vantage point is more logical, rational, reasonable, and just than the pro-life vantage point. And no, it's going to be difficult for you because you're used to cheating Bernie Sanders and media and Jimmy Kimmel and all these, every social media algorithms. You won't have Twitter. They won't have Twitter. They won't have the Supreme Court fear tactic. Oh, you better vote because Roe v. Wade will be overturned. It's already overturned. Democrats have all of their advantages are crumbling before everyone's eyes. Give me your thoughts below. Be here at the live stream at 6:30 p.m. Live stream. Thank you so very, very much. And on this channel, 6:30 p.m., about an hour.